Hentai and Western hentai. Guess we've got a connoisseur. Low-key, hentai can be art. See citrus. Remember to not get any emotion in your eyes. Can emotion really fly so far in the air that it can land in your eye? 'Cause that seems gross and painful. Why did you specify Western hentai? New Derpixon animation dropped, that's why. Me. Sees a girl get showed 20 tentacles up her ass. Me. Wow, this is so deep. 2D girls don't have internal organs unless the artist really wants you to know they have internal organs. Please get out of the shower. Yeah. No mouth face fog. Except what Bobby drew today. He made the opposite of art. He made a masterpiece. Western hentai. Western hentai. That's why art is subjective. One person's thought-provoking, emotion-twisting art means jack shit to another person. Everything is art, whether it's art to one or art to billions. I have nipples, am I art? The point of art isn't to evoke emotion, it's for the artist to express emotion. Would this not depend on the artist? Both can happen at the same time. You can want to express what you feel and at the same time share it with the rest of the world. Why would artists share their art if it was not for the art to invoke some kind of a reaction? There's also a thought that one of the differences between porn and art is that art shouldn't invoke prurient feelings, but instead should appeal to higher levels of thought, emotion, not enlightenment per se, but something besides base animal desires. I've seen a couple of lewd drawings on the internet with very good technical quality. Shit could belong in a museum. I'd argue that horny isn't an emotion, it is a state of being. Like hunger. If we are making that distinction, I wouldn't disqualify something that makes me feel fear or disgusts me from being art. Is horny an emotion though? It's not happy, angry, sad or the like. The whole time since this I wondered why the replies are so strange. I didn't notice the typo until just now. My favorite emotion is definitely dad. I'm not sure that being horny is an emotion. Sometimes it's my only emotion. No, you need something more than just emotional response. Punching someone in the face also elicits extreme emotions. But we're in a bad place if we start calling that true art. I would pay a reasonable price to enter gallery of artistic picture of MMA and boxing fights. I don't think art is supposed to evoke emotions. It can does whatever you want it to do to you. Let's also not forget that there's a human behind a work of art that's expressing their emotions, thoughts, vision, imagination, fantasies, culture, etc. Hentai can have all those things. Is this post-nut clarity? Op has reached enlightenment after the fattest nut of his life. Art is not anything which evokes emotion. Nowhere here did they say art is anything which evokes emotion. They said, art in its truest form should evoke emotion. Not all emotions are really complex or deep, just how a Fast and Furious movie can cause someone to be excited about what's happening on the screen, but we wouldn't say it's a deep emotion. Like that, I wouldn't say erotic medias are usually evoking complex emotions. They can though. But they do evoke sexual arousal, and that is an emotion they're usually good at evoking. So it depends on the actual piece if it arouses you and if it's good on being art in that sense. I think separating sexuality from the emotional spectrum is a mistake we do because sex is sometimes a very taboo topic to include in our romantic ideas of life. Even masturbation is a type of emotional expression, just how if you're sad you cry as a physical response to your emotions and screaming while crying as a behavioral response. Getting hard could be considered as a physical expression of arousal and masturbation as a behavioral extension to it. Fast and Furious is wonderful franchise and all simp for it. If that series don't end with the family destroying either space station or small dictatorship, then it be failure in my books. I'd argue it strays too close to pandering sentimentality. The feeling is too obvious and artificial. This is a interesting argument I haven't heard before. Personally, I'd argue pop art is similar in that regards. Visual artist here. Hentai or Western hentai is not really good at being art. Often it's unoriginal as it's generally using established IP to flaunt horniness to people who intake this type of material. Also, a lot of it is commission-based, so the content is often decided before the piece is made. That is no way diminishing the talents some artists use to create these pieces. I do, however, think that effort could be used in a more productive way. In saying that, it is also a massive revenue stream for some artists that partake in that industry. I have a few friends who make money on the side doing hentai-like commission, outside their more established art-related careers. Not to defend hentai, but if someone can put a banana on a wall and call that art, then anything goes really. Being unoriginal, sexually explicit, and definitely violating IP are standards that never applied in the art world. At least not with any consistency. Nah. Horny is not an emotion, just like hungry is not an emotion. It's a physical state of being. Yeah. Just like happiness or anger or things like that. What the fuck is this shit? The most neckbeard Reddit shit you'll read all day. Then dick pics are too. Would God be the artist then? Whatever makes you feel better about yourself. I'd like to nominate this post for being the most Reddit post of 2022. We don't need any other entries. We have reached the summit of what Reddit stands for. It's important to remember this when encountering art that you hate. The only criticism I despise hearing is, "That's not art." Yes, it is. The fact that you felt strongly enough to say that is proof it's art. I love this response. I'ma save it. No, Patrick, mayonnaise jizz isn't an emotion. Horny isn't an emotion. It's the consciousness of sexual arousal. Just because horny is the only thing you feel, doesn't make it an emotion. What if he falls in love of an octopus? Please go touch grass. Horny is not an emotion. It's a lifestyle. So I am a connoisseur of the arts after all. How comforting and convenient to know.